Good morning, everyone. Today we will present the abstract and expressionist arts activities. But before we proceed with these activities, let's first have an overview of what is abstract and expressionist art.
Hello everyone, my name is Alarda Cristel Maybe and I am going to share with you an overview of what is abstract art and what is expressionist art. First, let's begin with abstract art. Abstract art is a non-objective art that does not have an adequate representation of a visual reality, but achieves its effects through forms, colors, textures, and gestures marks. It was created at the beginning of the 20th century and was considered revolutionary at that time. The primary goal of abstraction in art is to encourage participation and imagination rather than tell a story. It provides viewers with an intangible and emotional experience unique to each person based on their personality and mood. Abstract art can be vague to understand because the content of the artwork is revolving around the artist's inner feelings, emotions, or experience, and it is presented in an unrealistic manner. It even consumes much of our time grasping and interpreting the meaning and idea of the painting. Because abstract art is like listening to a music with no words, no lyrics, just simply the notes, the rhythm, and the harmony. But you start to realize what it tries to convey the moment you feel the emotion being attached to it. Abstract art is like a visual representation of the artist's inner feelings that is being manifested through colors, lines, textures, geometric forms, and movement. There are 4 types of abstract art. What are those? First is what we call sensitive or informal abstractionism. It refers to predominating feelings and emotions. Colors and shapes are created freely. The second one is what we call tachism. It is formed by spots created impulsively with all the freedom or emotional effusion of the artist. The third one is what we call geometric abstraction. The lines and colors are organized in a way that results in a mostly geometric composition. And the fourth one is what we call action painting. It is a production of improvised and gestural drip painting, placing your canvas on the floor and pouring paint over it from the can or dragging it by brush or stick. Here are some examples of abstract arts. First is entitled Red and Blue Horse, created by Franz Marc, and it is an example of sensitive or informal abstractionism. The second one is entitled Around the Blue, created by Sam Francis, and it is an example of tachism. The third one is entitled Red, Blue, and Yellow, created by Payet Mondrian, and it is an example of geometric abstraction. The fourth one is entitled The She-Wolf by Jackson Pollock, and it is an example of action painting. Do you know who is the famous abstract artist? Well, his name is Wassily Kandinsky. He was born in 1866 and he died in 1944. He is considered as father of abstract art. In the early 20th century, Wassily Kandinsky originated abstract art. He felt that the artist's inner existence might be expressed through geometric forms, lines, and colors. Do you want to see Wassily Kandinsky's work? Well, here it is. It is the first abstract piece of art and it was created in the year 1910. Now, let's proceed to Expressionist art. Expressionist art aimed to portray emotion and meaning instead of attempting to depict reality. Each artist has their manner of expressing their feelings through their work. The subjects are frequently manipulated or exaggerated to show emotion. Colors are often vibrant and stunning at the same time. Expressionist art is a visual representation that tells the viewers about the artist's emotional experience. This form of art puts heavy emphasis on expression over impression. The image of the art were being distorted in order to create a deep emotional effect. Are you an expressionist artist? Well, let's learn what are the characteristics of expressionist art. The first one is what we call strong brushstrokes. Bolder strokes and geometric shapes were prominent among expressionist artists. The second one is what we call stark forms. Printmakers and woodcut artists were common among expressionist artists. They painted with the skill of these media, creating sharp figures that occasionally straddle the line between two-dimensionality and three-dimensionality. The last one is subjectivity. The artist's subjective perspective is layered in expressionism. Expressionist painting focuses on how scenes exist in the artist's mind rather than in reality. Here are some examples of expressionist art. The first one is entitled The Scream. It was created by Edvard Munch in the year 1893. The second one is entitled Der Blaue Tier. It was created by Wassily Kandinsky in the year 1903. The third one is entitled Mad Woman. It was created by Chaim Soutine in the year 1920. Do you know who is the famous expressionist artist? Well, I guess you know, because his name is Vincent van Gogh. He was born in the year 1853 and he died in the year 1890. Van Gogh created nearly 2,100 works of art in just over a decade, including 860 oil paintings and over 1,300 watercolors, prints, and charcoal sketches. Amazing, right? Here's Vincent van Gogh's famous artwork, The Starry Night, and it was created in the year 1889.
Starry, starry night.
Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night teaches us to see the world not just on how it looks like, but rather on how it feels like. Despite of his mental illness, Vincent van Gogh left us magnificent and unforgettable pieces of artwork that will always be remembered with gratitude. It was in the year 1890 of July when he took his own life.
Now I understand what you try to say to me, how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now.
Moving on, this is Michelle and I will talk about abstract and expressionist art activities. What are the benefits to the learners in these activities? Abstract expressionist art activities are excellent for kindergarten and kids who require substantial guidance because they demand less fine motor skills but can still produce aesthetically beautiful results if done correctly. A child is struggling in holding their pencils or even tearing a paper because of this. As you can notice, the bone structure of these two hands is different. The left hand is a preschool child's hand, while right is a hand of a 7-year-old child. As a teacher, it is part of our responsibility to help them develop this one. Abstract expressionist art is fun art activity. Still, it is very beneficial to every child because it can develop not only on their psychomotor but also on their creativities and more. Now we will elaborate on each of these activities. The first one is finger painting. Finger painting is beneficial to the development of young children. Allowing children to paint with their fingers improves their fine motor abilities while encouraging them to be creative. Finger painting also provides numerous opportunities to teach several ideas to children. Not only the fine motor skills, but teach another thing through finger painting, like teaching the alphabet. As they are learning, they are also enjoying it. The next is wet on wet watercolor abstract painting. Wet on wet watercolor is a free-form painting technique that helps children to completely appreciate color. It's a fantastic way to introduce kindergarten students to the world of color. Before beginning to paint, the paper must be wet or saturated with water. The colors flow and fluctuate on the wet paper, making it difficult to establish a particular form. It emphasizes the process, the young child's discovery of color rather than the final product of generating a picture in this way. This activity focuses more on color recognition and identification. A child needs to recognize and identify colors because it is also key to cognitive development. It helps children to develop their descriptive language skills, which in turn encourages clear communication and understanding. Next is the splatter effects. As the name suggests, splatter painting is the practice of applying paint to a project by splattering it rather than brushing it on. It's a dirty procedure, but it's also a lot of fun since it's an energetically active painting process. The sight of flying paint splattering in all directions elicits a sense of expectation and excitement in children. It is fun to do and stimulates creativity in the child and is a means of expression. The last is printmaking using stamps and rulers. Printmaking allows children to experiment with various tools and recognize common objects that can be used to make prints. It encourages children to be expressive and creative. Stamping in a specified location requires eye-hand coordination. Using stamps to create a design or pattern stimulates creativity and visual, perceptual reasoning. This activity activates a new group of muscles in the thumb and fingers. In addition, these activities can be utilized as conversation starters because children can add meaning to their work even if it is not representational to begin with. These are enjoyable activities with no right or incorrect answers. These art activities are natural. There is freedom in how they express and give meaning to it. With the help of the activities, they may associate their painting with whatever message they want to convey.